Back to the book. Military science involves knowledge of the methods of other schools. Unless you know the ways of other schools, you certainly cannot understand the way of my individual school. Got to understand your enemy. Got to understand other methods. Got to understand the way other people are doing things. There are some other schools that are fond of extra long swords. From the point of martial art, I see them as weak schools. At times, when you are engaged with an opponent at close quarters, the longer your sword is, the harder it is to strike with it. You cannot swing the sword back and forth enough, and it becomes a burden. Then you are in a worse situation than someone wielding a small sidearm sword. In the context of large military science, the extra long sword is the large contingent. A shorter one is a small contingent. Is a battle between a small contingent and a large contingent impossible? There are many examples of a small contingent winning over a large contingent. Thus, in my individual school, there is an aversion to narrow, biased attitude. This calls for careful examination. So, yes, just like with a longer sword, the harder it is to maneuver. With a smaller sword, it's easier to maneuver. If you take a big giant element with you on the battlefield, it's harder to maneuver. If you take a smaller, in the business world, you set up your company, this large business, it's going to be less maneuverable. If you break it into smaller teams that are more maneuverable, could be very beneficial. So you should have an aversion towards biased attitudes.